crew's going to be pissed. All right, we're on.
You know,
It's gonna be very out of context for the people that just pick it up.
Tom Cruise is a piece of garbage.
I'm keeping that in.
Yeah, do it. Great.
Okay.
All right. Welcome back to the Second and Charge podcast, where the entire playbook is open. I'm Josiah.
Eli.
And I'm a Scientologist.
Oh no.
Well,
Oh no.
Shun the
Restart.
Shun the non-believer.
All right.
and
JK.
As a reminder for those of you who like to listen to audio only, the link for the Spotify will be in the description.
Yeah, so Josie, you don't know this. This is actually a double header, second and short. We recorded episode 80 before you got here. The state of Penn State football. Yeah, so this is episode 81, double header. Yeah,
I almost wore a Penn State shirt today just in honor of
Well,
the
I
decision.
have a Penn State TikTok to make, and I am going to be wearing my Penn State Saquon jersey during it too. I love doing that. Like whenever I post something like derogatory about Jalen Hurts, I'll like throw on an Eagles jersey. Oh, it's the best.
Kelly Green.
Throwing your Kelly Green Kelsey jersey.
So there was this. So I'm very high on the Chiefs. We'll get to that later. And I made a video after they won Sunday night. Like the Chiefs is still the Chiefs, and so I got some like comment like he's like, oh my gosh, and then one of the kids that I used to coach, he is a fresh 9th grader, says he's not even a Chiefs fan, little bro. I said that is hilarious. So I screenshotted that and sent it to the other coaches. I was like, kid has my back, but I was like, that's hilarious.
It's just a glazer. That's all. Kid, I got your back.
Okay.
Commenter.
Yeah, comment. All right, on that. So Scientology.
Yeah.
There's no way to segue from Scientology into the special teams moment of the week, but Eli.
Fake.
I like it.
Fake.
I like it.
Well, now the special teams moment of the week better be a fake of some sorts.
It's not a field goal fake. It's not a punt fake.
Some people do like. What was it called? I completely. I left my mind. Sorry, go on. Finish.
Well, now I'm curious. Now I don't even know what you're getting.
I'll think through my thought.
We'll
process
sit
again
and
I'll
watch
bring it
you
back.
until you.
No,
at. McPherson. All right. So against the Packers, I call it fake because it didn't count. The special teams have been awesome so far this year. Jets had a nice kick return. You don't think they've been pretty crazy? All right,
Crazy, yeah.
Okay.
It depends. They've
right,
been very
crazy.
extreme. They've been dramatic.
They've been exciting.
They've been very dramatic, either in very positive or very negative ways.
This past week, not as much happened. I was between a few. Kick return for the Jets. I think if the Jets win that game, that's probably it because of how bad their offense was. That like basically won them the game if they win.
Sorry to cut you off. Somebody is defending Justin Fields, as I predicted, for 47 yards. His receivers can't catch, so that's the issue. I'm pretty sure Garrett Wilson's open and they're not throwing him the ball. Sorry, Eli. It's just hilarious. Like, you can't make this stuff up. Like,
I knew there were still going to be people who were Justin Fields defenders. It's like when you've gone to 3 different organizations.
but defending this specific performance is hilarious.
Yeah.
Sorry, Eli.
No,
I saw that comment this morning. I was like, is this a troll? Like, am I being trolled? Like, this is ridiculous. But
Another one I was between was the Browns running into the punter. Like that is horrendous stuff, and then it leads to a Steelers touchdown that I think puts them up 2 scores. That's a big penalty. But Evan McPherson, the would-be record-setting kick. I think if you have a would-be like a record in the NFL, then that automatically gets you up there. Matt LaFleur with a beautiful timeout.
Matt LaFleur.
LaFleur. Is there an extra on that?
LaFleur.
LaFleur. With the beautiful timeout. I don't think I'm calling timeout in that situation because I don't want him to be able to see if he can make it. You know what I mean? I'm probably like, nope, let him kick it because if he misses bad, they're going to throw a Hail Mary, and I don't want them to throw a Hail Mary. But he calls a timeout. It works. They would add 3 if it were me as a coach. So that's why I'm not a head coach or a coach at all. And it worked out. And for the Packers, but not for Evan McPherson in the NFL record-setting kick. So that's my special teams moment of the week, even though it was sort of fake, like Scientology.
Like Scientology.
I like that.
Yeah. So that's now twice Cam Little and now Evan McPherson. So, by the way, Acrisure Stadium, figured out. Ridiculous. My my glorious king Chris Boswell should not be missing a kick because of field conditions. Ridiculous. If that costs him a Pro Bowl or an All Pro, I'm going to be very upset. So.
They have to put a little asterisk next to whoever has the most accurate. I think it's Cam Dicker now. It's like they're going to put a little asterisk next to it and say Chris Boswell missed because of the field.
I never knew the Chargers had fans until I saw how many people trying to tell me Dicker is better than Brandon Aubrey and Chris Boswell, which he is very good, but I'm still taking Bos or
Dicker,
Brandon Aubrey.
the kicker. Classic Gus Johnson call.
So, yeah, Gus Johnson. One of my... You used to love Gus Johnson.
No, dude.
No, you did. When we were growing up, you used to love him.
My goodness, dude. He is...
You used to love how
he is
over
one
the
of
top he
the...
is.
Oh, no. I guarantee you, he is so overdramatic and can't... He's bad, dude.
One of my favorite parts about Madden 12 is he is still the commentator, so... Breakout.
Madden 12 was a great game.
Yeah, so Gus Johnson, he's calling some Penn State games here and there. Penn State, they're not winning this week or the last 2 weeks. They might have been the loser of the country the last few weeks. Josiah. Ooh, Josiah. Sound like my mother.
Yeah, what the heck? We just talked about
Who is the winner of the week?
Winner from this week. Come back to me.
All right, on that
Aiden,
note...
who's the winner of the week? Because usually you have to ask. You know what I mean?
but-
So I got you this week.
Well, I'm going to say come back to me, too, because a guy who did not win this week was Brian Callahan, which is something that we probably should have hit on earlier anyway. This is now back-to-back years where a team has kept a head coach that I said, why are you keeping him? In fact, I said it for 2 different guys last year, and both of those guys ended up fired. And something that they share in common is they both drafted a quarterback first overall. Last year, I said Dennis Allen and Matt Eberflus are clearly not the futures of the Saints and the Bears. Sure enough, they were not. The problem is Chicago has what they believe is a generational talent in Caleb Williams. Why are you throwing him to the wolves here, putting him in a blender with all kinds of different voices on the offensive side of the football? Now, the Bears have won 3 straight. They look better, so maybe crisis averted. It also helps having Ben Johnson. The Titans now. And I have said this pretty much in my takeaways each and every week. What is more embarrassing? The fact that you fired Mike Vrabel and hired Brian Callahan, or the fact that you doubled down on that mistake and let Brian Callahan coach what you believe is a generational player in Cam Ward? Now, let's make it even more embarrassing. The week you fire him is the week Mike Vrabel comes home. It gets worse and worse the more you think about it. The Titans, their owner can't even bother to show up. Dysfunctional teams do dysfunctional things, and dysfunction starts from the top. And the Strunk family is clearly dysfunctional. It started with their father, Bud Adams, leaving the team to 3 of his offspring. Hey, you can't have multiple owners. It doesn't work out well. Like the Colts, for instance. All 3 Irsay daughters are owners. 1 daughter is controlling. She is the final say. That is the way things have to go. You need to have a CEO. You need to have the head honcho. The Titans are a mess. They don't have very many fans. The only thing that they have going for them is whenever they wear the Oilers uniforms. So, yeah. Brian Callahan, I mean, nobody's really going to say anything good about him, right? Like, I think that this is the least talented team coached by the worst coach in the football. Like, and I don't...
You think that's more than the Saints? So, like, for instance, like, I mean, I know the Kellen Moore thing is still young. And so maybe that's, like, the rationale with it, like, the combination of the team talent and head coaching.
I had 10
there's
times...
some talent on the Tennessee Titans. Like, on the defensive side of the ball, there's talent.
Jeffrey Simmons. I mean, they went and got L'Jarius Sneed, who hasn't played well, but he's talented. Like, I mean, I'm blanking on other names right now, but, like... like, Tavondre Sweat's out for the year. Like,
yeah.
The thing that got me most excited about the Titans was the offensive and the defensive lines. The offensive line, especially because they were coached by Bill Callahan, Brian's father. Bill's now bye-bye. Mike McCoy, who I did not know was on the Titans, is going to be the interim head coach, which even that was dysfunctional. They waited like 2 hours to announce who the interim head coach was. Like, I didn't know if they were going to try and pull a Jeff Saturday with the Colts. Because typically with those announcements, it's simultaneously, or at least 10 minutes after. When Penn State fired their coach, we found out within the hour who the interim coach was going to be. So this is standard protocol for college, pros, everything. not even just football, just sports in general. The fact that it was hours later just reeks of dysfunction. Like, were they trying to have an outside hire to finish out the year? Like, it at least would have been entertaining to talk about, because Jeff Saturday, he didn't do awful. He definitely didn't do good, but it was entertaining, at least. I don't know. The Titans are a mess. So.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I think that my win for this week, as I was looking through the
Hold on,
the
we're not
games,
done
is-
with Brian Callahan yet. Did you
We're
have
not
anything?
done.
We're not. Did you have anything else to say about Brian Callahan?
Yeah, I mean, I think thinking back to when he first got hired there, we were talking about like, hey, he's coming from the Cincinnati Bengals, who are an offensive team. At the time, the starting quarterback for the Tennessee Titans was Will Levis, and we were talking about like, okay, maybe he can elevate this into something better. Obviously, we know how that's turned now. They had the first overall pick. They drafted Cam Ward, just like you said. I think that, I mean, you talked about the curse of drafting a quarterback number 1 overall. I think it was 6 of 8, right? 6 of 8 head coaches were fired that season after drafting a quarterback number 1 overall. And so it's just, I mean, it's insane, but it's like clockwork at this point. Like, and the turnover for these young quarterbacks that are taken so high up, it's terrible for them. Having this many different systems and offensive coordinators and head coaches, like, it's terrible for the start of a career. And like, I wasn't huge on Cam Ward coming out of the draft. I think he was the clear quarterback 1, but I think in a different year, like, I know, you're a Jackson Dart guy.
But I think that it was very close.
Yeah. I think that the talent's there, and I think that in the right setting, like his mobility, his arm strength, obviously he needs to fine-tune things, work on his accuracy, things like that, his leadership overall. But I think that the team likes him, and I think that if you can bring in the right guy, like, this can be something that works. You just need to revamp that whole roster.
I'm glad you said that, because if you can bring in the right guy, this is a job like the Jets, where you have 2 dysfunctional owners, the Johnson family, the Strunk family. You're not going to be able to get the top guy. Your best chance is somebody falls in love with Cam Ward, which is very possible. He has shown some tremendous flashes. There's something there. We're going to do a draft. We haven't done a draft in a while. And I was waiting for a draft because now's our chance. We're going to draft potential candidates for the Titans' next head coach. I want it to be semi-realistic, though, because they're not going to be able to pull the top guys, especially if a Cincinnati job is open. So keep it semi-realistic. Bless you. I don't know who the clear, like, favorite Ben Johnson caliber guy is this cycle. Right now,
there is one.
I would lean Joe Brady, but Joe Brady's in hot water after last night's game, not getting James Cook the ball. It came out, Sean McDermott's pissed at him for that. With that said, Josie, you can go ahead and do first pick. Who is the best fit for the Tennessee Titans and Cam Ward?
So I don't think that if either of you were picking first, they would take this guy. But this would probably be currently one of my top picks. A guy who I think we've all said that we'd love to see him have an NFL comeback. He's been in a Super Bowl winning head coach.
John Gruden.
What's that?
John Gruden.
It is John Gruden. I love his energy. Everything I'm seeing from him online is like he's winning back the graces of the younger generation, in my opinion, through being on Barstool, through his quarterback camp, whatever he calls it, where like, he's breaking down film with these guys, and like we found out that Jackson Dart clapped instead of having a cadence in college. He didn't once have a cadence the entire time. He's like, "Do you have a fake?" He's like, "Yeah, a fake clap." And he's like, "You've been clapping through all of college." Like it's hilarious. Like he's very
self-aware too.
Yes, exactly. And so I think that
he's leaned into the jokes.
Yes, 100%. I think that John Gruden, I think he deserves an NFL comeback, and I think that he's a good schematics guy. Like he understands football. He understands X's and O's. He needs somebody in there who is more political, to be like not a front man or like a face, but like somebody to and what's the word I'm looking for? Adhesion, or like glue guy, like a glue guy,
a general manager with more responsibility.
Exactly, like a leader of men. Like I'm saying, John Gruden is a leader, but at the same time, like his specialty is the X's and O's stuff, and I think we've seen more of his leadership / like
he can't be the sole
Interpersonal
voice in the
skills?
room.
Yes, exactly.
Because
That's what I'm
the
getting at.
Raiders started to turn things around, but Mike Mayock was really just a figurehead.
Yeah.
It was John Gruden's team. He
Yeah.
had full personnel control. He had full coaching control. I think that he should have a majority of control, but he can't be the dictator. He can't be the sire. They have to have another powerful voice in there, even if it is a 60-40.
Yeah.
Just somebody to combat him.
Yeah. But like when you talk about like what a team needs, like they need a hard-nosed coach who's willing to coach players, but you need players who are willing to be coached hard. And that's something I think that like we talked about them like revamping that roster in Tennessee, and like they would need to let Gruden have some autonomy over revamping that roster. I'm not saying he needs to be the GM and make all the calls, but like he needs to have some say in like the toughness, grit factor of the players that come into there.
I need John Gruden back in football. I'd prefer NFL as a head coach, but I'll settle for college even. I just need him back.
Oh, one last thought. When has a 10-year, $100 million contract ever worked out? I can only think of two. It was John Gruden got 10 for $100 million, and then James Franklin got 10 for $100 million. Like, it's never worked out. Like,
Anything long
there's
term just doesn't work
there's
out.
too much
anymore.
comfort in that.
Mahomes, 10 years, 500.
Yeah, but there's just too much comfort in that. Like, you need to be working towards that next contract. And when I think about like, if I got a 10-year contract right now, like I'm gonna be almost 43 by the time
And
I even have to worry about getting a job again. Like, there's not a level of like motivation that comes from getting that long contract.
think about how much the game changes in that time too. Like you see guys, coaches, and specifically in college, getting ridiculed for not changing with the times. Like Dabo, that's such a big deal now, and giving him a contract like that's crazy.
Yeah, but Gruden.
I'm going like the opposite way. I think this would be splashy, but I think it's very high risk, high reward. I'm going with Josh Grizzard from the Bucks. It's working out so well with Liam Cohen so quickly in Jacksonville, so I think that makes him up there on the list early. Again, it's very high risk, high reward. But honestly, if I'm the Titans, like whoever they bring in next, I know that this isn't the goal of when they hire somebody. It's not going to be like this guy could be out in a couple years, but they're not in the spot, I don't think yet, where they are ready for their long-term coach. So if you go out and get somebody like this, an offensive mind who's working with possibly the future MVP this year.
So almost like a Pete Carroll hire is what you're suggesting?
Yeah,
because the Raiders know he's not going to be there for 10 years, but somebody's to stabilize the franchise.
Or
Like
this dude is a genius who went to Yale and he is going to be like, it's just high risk, high reward, and I think that's what the Titans should be looking for right now.
Okay, cool. And then me to wrap it up, we're just gonna do one round just because we'll get other guys once more openings happen, like Miami next week. I'm gonna do one fun one.
Miami next week.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks.
Nice.
Yeah. One fun one, and then one kind of boring one,
Cleveland's winning next week.
but it makes sense. Mike McCarthy. He wants to coach. I think that when you look at the Saints job, which is the only job that he was really in the running for this year, other than the Cowboys job, versus the Titans job, both have pros and cons. The Saints have more stable ownership, more patience, but there's no quarterback. Spencer Rattler has played pretty well this year. The Titans are the opposite. There's not much there, but there's a quarterback. And out of all the pro comps for Cam Ward, Aaron Rodgers made the most sense when I saw that during this draft cycle. Between the arm talent, an above average athlete, but they're not a Lamar Jackson, a Jane Daniels type like that. There are a lot of similarities there. And kind of what Eli said, it stabilizes the team. Now, I would say it kind of is counterintuitive to what you were saying in the fact where I don't think that it's a super high ceiling, but it's somebody to get you back into that Mike Vrabel era where the team's relevant, they're competing and winning the South every once in a while, and you're developing the quarterback. So that would be the fun one. Now, the boring one, but it makes sense. Mike Borgonzi, who is pretty much running the team, guess who he has a working history with? Matt Nagy, exactly. Matt Nagy's a guy who has a Coach of the Year award. And we kind of laugh at that because Matt Nagy was never the best coach in the NFL. But he wasn't as bad in Chicago as people thought. Mitch Trubisky looked like he had potential for a couple of years there, which is hilarious to say as two Steelers fans and
MVP.
somebody who lives the MVP. Matt Nagy and Matt Nagy's a guy who deserves a second chance to be a head coach. Cue Eli saying, let coordinators be coordinators.
Yeah, I mean, he is, like, he does get too much hate. It was just, I think the main reason he gets hate is because of how quickly it started, or how good he started, and then it went downhill. It was like, he didn't build the Bears. It was like, they started hot, and then he got worse and worse.
Going back to what you said, though, with quarterbacks, whether they're a 5-star in college or a first round in the NFL, situations have become such a narrative where it bails them out. And Josie, you weren't here for this, so I'll tell you what I said. Yeah, situations are huge for both college and the NFL, whether that's coaching, staff around them, offensive line, whatever you want to say. With that said, we have let it become just like an excuse all for busts, both in college and the pros, where, oh, it's a bad situation. If he had a better situation, he would have been great.
Justin Fields.
Exactly. Not necessarily. Like, there are times, like, yeah, Geno Smith in a better situation was a good quarterback. Sam Darnold has been a good quarterback in better situations. Yeah. With that said, some quarterbacks are just bad. Like, and I get kind of frustrated where we just blame everything on the coach and the GM for not building a good team around him or not developing him. Like, maybe the kid just doesn't have it in terms of talent or in between the ears or in the heart or both. So, I don't know. Maybe what I'm getting at is Justin Fields. What if he didn't have that? Because that was a huge part in things going south with Chicago. And once again, not a Justin Fields hater. I actually really think he's fun to watch. I think that he is a good football player and
I think he's a good dude.
Yeah.
He seems like he's a good kid.
with that said, he has not shown it. And the Jets giving him 2 years, $40 million, even though they can get out of it after this year, which right now it looks like they will. Zach Wilson has shown way more ability to throw the ball down the field. Zach Wilson was with Sean Payton last year in QB boot camp. Justin Fields looked like a deer in the headlights with Arthur Smith coaching. No offense to Arthur Smith, I think he's good, but he's not Sean Payton. Zach Wilson is a backup, and Justin Fields getting 2 year, $40 million. Justin Fields has had more opportunities both at the college and the pro level. I just get frustrated because Zach Wilson's a guy who I think might actually benefit from a situation, but he can't get an opportunity. Justin Fields can. So I digress. Matt Nagy is the boring answer, but like and I did steal that from McAfee. It just it makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Patrick Mahomes betting favorite to win MVP right now. So
Ridiculous.
is it?
Yes.
He has been money.
3-3.
Yeah, but he individually.
So put money on Baker.
I haven't yet.
Baker's
but I
only
thought
like
wait.
plus 350, and
he's second.
and Mahomes is plus 185. It's not worth
And
it.
then
What did I
Mahomes is
see?
third.
Say we needed a bet?
Pounds third.
We needed the Chiefs to lose, right?
That sounds right.
No,
Yeah.
we're gonna take their over and
Who
then
else?
who's under? Oh, the Colts under.
What's under?
Yeah, and the Colts won. So that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Naples was gonna beat it to the line, so we'll
Yeah,
see if
yeah.
he did it.
We see let great coordinators be great coordinators. Let's let great college quarterbacks remain great college quarterbacks. Justin Fields in college was great. Guess what? Don't let it taint the fact that he was a great quarterback in college by how terrible he's been in the NFL. I feel like some people are just holding on to that. They're like, oh, but he went to a national championship. Yeah, but like, what has he done in the NFL? It's like there's a completely different game between the two. We mentioned his name earlier, but I didn't want to throw his name out. I think at some point Marcus Freeman ends up in the NFL. I think that he's got that leader of men style of maybe he's not as much of an X's and O's guy, but like kind of like a younger Tomlin, where like he's a leader of men. People seem to gravitate towards him. He is
You know it.
what?
Yeah,
I didn't say
what
anything.
reminds
Keep
you
going.
of a Tomlin?
Just keep going.
Rooney Rule. There you go.
Wow.
I also another one that's kind of an interesting one that I thought of it today is actually that a lot of people talked about this guy getting a second chance to be a head coach. He actually has some history with Tennessee. I think if the Steelers continue to do their thing on offense this year, I think Arthur Smith back to Tennessee makes a ton of sense. He was, I mean, you're not getting Vrabel back. There's no chance of that. So, like, what's the next best thing? your OC, who took you to with an average defense, took you to an AFC Championship game. Yeah, they lost the AFC Championship
Record
game,
for most players on IR.
yeah, like I
Number
think,
one seed. Yeah.
I think Arthur Smith, if he gets another chance to be a head coach, I think Tennessee makes a ton of sense. I think that's one to watch. Again, if the Steelers do something this year,
Would it?
that would be one to watch.
I mean, this year would help because Rodgers is looking better. But does it hurt him that when his offense was cooking, it was like run heavy? Yet they have this young quarterback. You think?
I mean, you could always draft a running. I mean, Jeremiah Love's coming up next
I'm
year,
just
right?
saying, like, if the goal of
yeah.
hiring somebody is to benefit the quarterback,
Let's go back though. What did I say at the beginning? This is not a team that's going to be able to pull the top candidates unless they truly love Cam Ward.
Yeah.
This is a team like the Jets. The Jets wanted Vrabel last year. The Jets wanted Ben Johnson last year. Those two ain't going there. They're not. And Arthur Smith, I agree. I think because he wasn't even that bad at Atlanta. I mean, 7-10 3 years in a row.
Atlanta was terrible at the time too.
Yeah,
Like, the team was
7-10
awful.
3 years in a row with no quarterbacks. That's not bad. With that said, it's not a very exciting hire. Similar to a Matt. In fact, I would say it's less exciting than a Matt Nagy.
it would if he did what he's done in the past, he would help Cam Ward in that it wouldn't all be on Cam Ward, but it wouldn't necessarily help development of Cam Ward.
So would you take Ryan Tannehill at his peak, or would you take Cam Ward going into his second year? I think talent-wise, like you've taken Cam Ward going into his second year. So like,
yeah.
that would probably be one of the best quarterbacks that Arthur Smith has ever had, aside from a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers. So like, they've never had Marcus Mariota had his flashes, but like I think Cam Ward would be the best young quarterback that Arthur Smith ever
at his
had.
peak over Cam Ward year two.
Yeah, I don't know. Tannehill was
Year two for quarterbacks is a good year. I mean, look at what happens with. Like, I think I'm the biggest Caleb Williams guy in this room by a lot. I
I
think.
haven't been dynasty.
Okay, yeah. Naples is with me, I think, on it. But like, look how quickly that's turned around. And obviously, it's still a work in progress. But we're seeing. Okay, yeah, like. We've seen more of Caleb Williams being the generational prospect than we have of Trevor Lawrence in year 5.
That's valid.
So this
Come
is
back in the playoffs excluded from that conversation. I agree. Yeah,
yeah, but that's
one game.
half out of 5 seasons.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. It's gonna be fun. I love the coaching drama, and I was excited to see this happen. And as a Mike McDaniel fan, I was happy that this happened first. But
Well, that also makes a lot of sense because if Mike McDaniel is going to be an OC and Arthur Smith becomes a head coach, guess where there's an offensive coordinator vacancy? In Pittsburgh.
I think there's a vacancy in Pittsburgh.
Dude, he was a great OC.
I know. I'm just picturing him and like Tomlin. Like they're total opposites.
He's another one where
He's just such a goofball.
I think he is somebody who deserves a second shot at bench.
McDaniels. Oh yeah.
He got his hands tied to Tua. And
He's just got to mature.
I agree, because his
a
act
kid. He
his
looks
act
like
runs
a kid.
thin
Yeah.
when you're losing. It's hilarious when you're winning games, but it sours very quickly.
Yeah.
With that said, he is one of the best run offensive minds that we have ever seen. So,
Caleb Johnson.
oh my gosh, don't get me started.
Hey, he looked decent. His runs were getting 7-8 yards.
I don't give a crap. What are we
He looked
doing?
good.
He's the
Ridiculous.
future.
We could have signed J.K. You telling me J.K. Dobbins and Jalen Warren this year? Like, so freaking good. Dobbins is amazing. All right, Arthur Smith, I don't think will be in Pittsburgh regardless. You know, do you remember what location was pretty interested in him last year?
Location makes it interesting.
I feel like I do, but I'm blanking on what team it was. AFC or NFC?
New York. I don't know. I'm trying to think
Was
of
it the Jets?
what would like location.
Chapel Hill.
Oh.
North Carolina was
Okay.
pretty.
No, you know it's going to Steve.
Well,
This has been in.
does Steve
this has
want
been
it
in
at
works.
this point?
This has been in works. I'm not even buying any of the crap that comes out of North Carolina right
I don't
now.
want to go too far down that rabbit hole, but it might be time for Steve to cut ties because Steve, I think, has a chance to be an NFL head coach one day, and I think his dad might be dragging him down,
One-on-one when we talked about college.
like off air.
No, I think when we did like a few weeks ago when we talked college,
did
and it
we?
was just us two. I think. We
Yeah,
talked
and
about
so
Steve.
I think UNC is an interesting one to look at there. And we were talking. We can talk about it, especially since Naples isn't here.
Browns head coaching
No,
vacancy that's gonna be after this
listen,
season?
we don't.
Oh,
need to
that's
talk
what
about
I was. If we were gonna do a more draft, I was gonna try to sneak in
Stefanski. Like,
or Harbaugh.
Cliff Kingsbury is another. Oh, you want to know a fun name? Former player Ryan Fitzpatrick. I feel like would make a good coach.
Who
Call
did
me
I
crazy.
see?
He got
what
a
about
big brain.
McCown?
Josh
The
McCown.
realistic version
Yeah,
of that.
yeah.
Who did
Oh.
I see that was?
I
Keep
mean,
going.
you'd have to pry him away from his TV contract, which is going to be next to impossible.
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, just with how like smart he is about the game and
I
things
think
like
he's
that.
too
like,
good
Davis
for
Webb.
TV. I don't think he.
Yeah. And what?
Davis Webb.
Is he an OC or quarterbacks coach right now?
I think.
Do you remember
pass game
him?
coordinator.
Oh yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I saw that and I was
So
like,
at Denver,
What?
Denver, right?
Yeah,
Sean
offensive pass
Paintree?
game coordinator and QB coach for Denver.
Antoine Randall.
Yeah, I saw that list on like a. I think it was like a 20 name list. but
So,
I don't
Gary-
know.
Let's have a Gary segment here.
Gary.
First off, he's loving on 4-4 for the Giants. He has become the biggest Cam Scatterboo fan alive.
What?
He loves white running backs and he loves white players.
I was gonna say not even just running back.
It's like from longest difference. That's how.
You know what he said last year during the Penn State Boise State game? I just like to see a white tight end. You don't see a lot of those. And me and Eli are like, what? He's like, yeah, white tight ends. They're
position
not.
that's still dominated. By
Yeah, the one position other than quarterbacks and offensive linemen. That is majority. Yeah. So
Kicker.
that's what made him a huge Tyler Warren fan.
There's a lot.
More
There's a
than-
lot of
more than-
Hispanic. There's a lot of Hispanic kickers
Australians,
now. And
Yeah,
what'd you
that
say?
counts.
Australians,
Yeah,
spicy whites.
Roberto Aguayo.
Yeah, that's a punter though.
Cam Scatterboo, also in the college football playoffs, he discovered him. Cam Scatterboo is now on mine and my dad's joint fantasy team.
Did you trade for him?
No, I picked him up on the waiver wire. So hilarious. Before he had his breakout game, we had a guy who was out. It might have not Pearsall. I forget who it was. But I just threw him on IR, and so we had open roster spots. So I just threw a flyer in there. I picked up Scatterboo. That was the week of Scatterboo. Travion Henderson hasn't panned out for us, so all of a sudden we became a Scatterboo team.
RB1.
Yeah, well, we had Bijan.
No, I'm saying you had Trey Henderson as your RB1 in the draft. I'm not out on him. It's been
Yeah.
interesting to see how they've used him
Yeah,
or lack of use.
yeah. When he's seen the field, he hasn't.
Yeah.
So I'm still holding out hope. Something's up there though. But yeah, so we have Cam Scatterboo. Long story short, sorry, I'm rambling. Gary is getting a Cam Scatterboo jersey, and he has a chain that says G Money. So he will be wearing a G Money chain and a Cam Scatterboo jersey.
I like it.
So
That's
how Gary came up in this conversation though is he saw on his Steelers Facebook feed that the Steelers are interested in trading for a wide receiver. He asked me if that was real, and I said, well, it at least is being reported on. The report is
It's
real.
Schefter, but I looked through Schefter's
I didn't see
Twitter
Schefter.
and I didn't see a single.
I thought it was like Jerry Dulac or something. It was some Steeler beat report. The whole reason I'm bringing this up is there a wide receiver you want to trade for? Because they were teasing me.
I was egging him on a little, but I still think like. So my point is.
My list begins and ends with AJ Brown, and there are caveats to that.
But there's so much money.
Not giving up a first, but there's not that much money.
He's got $30 million a year, isn't he?
He's 24, which is my caveat. If the contract stays the same and it's a number 2, then sure. Well, why not?
Yeah.
If
My
it
point
is a
is-
1 where you have to rework the contract, then no. And I don't think there's another. You want to trade up for a quarterback this year, correct? Not after looking at the quarterback.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
Not when
I
your
wanted
choices are
to.
Fernando Mendoza and Carson Beck.
So I thought that the plan was to do that because of how many picks they had in like the third round and such. Getting that pick for George Pickens, the third round pick, like I thought that was their plan. I don't know that that's the plan anymore.
I don't. We have 12 lottery tickets basically. I want to scratch all those suckers off.
That's wild.
I am going to get way more because, and I'm in the minority here. When your city hosts the draft, you want to like trade up and make the aggressive move. So the Steelers trading up and making the aggressive move would probably appease a lot of the fans. Me, I'm the opposite. I want to see my team pick as many players as possible. I don't care if it's in the 7th round. I want to see as many players get picked as possible. So for the first time in
Throw
forever.
darts at the board and hope one of them hits the bullseye.
Because if we're being honest, that's what the draft is. And I'm somebody who, like, my dream job, if you asked me, probably would be an NFL general manager. But all the work that these scouts do, all of the homework, all the private investigators, all the bull crap, at the end of the day, this is a lottery ticket system.
But that's why, like, doesn't that make you more inclined to want to trade for a proven guy that it is such a lottery system?
No, because that's the beauty of the draft, and that's why the draft has become the second biggest sport in North America. The fact that all 32 teams, you have guys like Naples who are just glued to the idea of grabbing that lottery ticket, the idea of finding your Joe Burrow to turn the franchise around.
But
Crashing out of Carson Schlesinger, and now he leads the team in tackles.
Yeah.
Like,
and is going to be the defense rookie there.
and then we look at it happens every year. It's like Puka Nakua going in the 5th round. Like it happens.
Your
every
chance of
single
finding
year.
AB or Antonio or AB or Tom Brady in the 6th round, like that's what makes the draft so exciting. Where any player could be a Hall of Famer.
It's exciting, but
Statistically, the guy's probably not even going to make the team in 2
that's
years.
what, like, wouldn't you rather just have AJ Brown for and give up a couple? Like, the Steelers are legit contenders. They have a very. I know the Chiefs are looking better.
Are they?
The Steelers,
I
the
agree,
Steelers
yeah.
are looking so good to get the number 1 spot in the AFC. And I know it's so early. I know the Chiefs are looking good. The Steelers are in such a good spot that why wouldn't you go all in on this year?
See, I think so. You asked the original question was, is there a wide receiver out there that you'd want to get? I think the caveat with the wide receiver that you go out and get is they have to be comfortable being wide receiver 2, because that's what happened with the Terry McLaurin thing. Is like Terry McLaurin didn't want to be wide receiver 2. That was the report that like it wasn't like a widespread report, but that like he
I don't think that we
Didn't
were
wanna
that close to
commit.
getting him for that conversation to happen. I don't
They were
think
pretty
so.
close. Anyway, I think that the AJ Brown one kind of does work just because DK and him were on the same team in college.
You know who I
They were
think was
teammates.
close?
Who's that?
Chris Olave.
See, and that's the thing. He's on my list too. Like I think
He's
that
already a wide
he is.
receiver too, or
I think Jalen Waddle, Chris Olave are both guys that are wide receiver 2s. I think that Chris Olave was a wide receiver 2 on Ohio State, even though he, for whatever reason, the Saints are trying to make him a wide receiver 1. He is a wide receiver 2. Jalen Waddle's been a wide receiver 2 his entire career, even going back to college. Behind what he was there with Devontae Smith and so you have a plethora of guys who can fill that wide receiver 2 role who are going to get paid wide receiver 2 money. I also think that another guy that fits what the Steelers would need specifically for this year is Jacoby Myers. I think Jacoby Myers would be a great fit for Pittsburgh and what they would need right now. A route runner who can catch the ball when it gets thrown to them. That's what they don't have right now. They don't have a guy who runs routes, who can catch the ball outside the frame of his body or catch the ball consistently. And I think in my mind, the best case scenario, they get Jacoby Myers and maybe they give him an extension like 2 years, $15 million a year.
The Steelers threw the ball 30 times this past week against Cleveland.
Because they can't throw the ball more than that.
Should we be throwing the ball more than that? 30
against
times?
Cleveland, no.
Yeah,
Against
exactly.
the team you have to, yes.
How much more? Like,
I mean, you're going to need another receiver to beat, and maybe that's where your argument of
how many
they're
times do we
not
have to bring in a
contender.
weapon just to not use them?
See, but how
No,
many teams are going to cover your number 1 wide receiver with a guy who's been there for 3 days? That's why they didn't have to throw the ball against the Browns, because they covered DK Metcalf with Tyson Campbell, Tyson Campbell's a great corner.
He played well.
He's a really good corner. He played really well. They covered him. They covered DK one-on-one with Tyson Campbell, a guy who'd been there for 3 days.
I don't really.
The greatest defense since the '85 Bears, with the way people talk about them.
I just don't see. I don't think that a wide receiver is going to be what gets this team over the hump at this
I mean, they're not getting a tackle, and that's the only other thing offensively that they desperately need is a left tackle, and you're not getting a left
I
tackle.
agree, which is
Yeah.
why I think that we ride this
You trade up
season.
for a left tackle next season. If there's
Deal.
a franchise left
No,
tackle,
actually not deal, because last time we traded up for a franchise tackle, we didn't
was
draft
a
Brian Branch or
project.
Christian Gonzalez, and we drafted Broderick Jones. When
a
Christian
project.
Gonzalez was picked with our pick, but
But you
whatever,
can't say
why
healthy,
listen to
so.
me?
you can't say healthy. So.
Broderick Jones actually played pretty well against Miles Garrett this past
actually.
week. So
Maybe Ben will stop referring to him as 77 and call him by
it was
his name.
hilarious how much Ben hates. I think I've said this on the Ben hates him because of his personal relationship with Dan Moore. Hilarious. Ben has no chill. Speaking of no chill, we talked about this on the first episode of the doubleheader. Mike Tomlin's hilarious. And
Did you see what he called out? Is that what you're
yeah,
talking about?
yeah,
Andrew
yeah.
Berry?
So
Yeah.
we're kind of going off the rails, which is fine because Josie, you were teasing me last week that the playbook is not open very much. So the playbook's open today. We're not gonna even do
Yes, sir.
winners or losers. Between the Anthony Richardson comment a couple weeks ago, and now this comment where Eli, if you want to pull up the quote because
Yeah, I
I
got
think
it
you're
now.
the only one who hadn't seen it. He is just completely throwing strays at people. It is
Rodgers
so
is loosening
unnecessary,
him up.
and it is hilarious.
Yeah.
I
I'm
like,
gonna read it.
yeah, go for it.
To be honest, it was shocking to me. Andrew Berry must be a lot smarter than me, or because it doesn't make sense to me to trade, or us because it doesn't make sense to me to trade a quarterback that you think enough to make your opening day starter to a division opponent that's hurting in that area. But that's just my personal feelings.
So this is now back-to-back strays, and both strays have resulted in Joe Flacco being propped up, which makes me like it even more. Like, this is not. I don't know. Mike Tomlin, I'm not a Tomlin hater. I'm also not a Tomlin defender. This has been objectively hilarious. This is not something you see. And this is not something a lot of coaches could pull off. But Tomlin is just throwing shots at people, and I love it. It's not normal for the Steelers, for any NFL coach to be talking about it. It is the opposite of professional, but it is so entertaining. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, it's also like I feel like there's this cyclical nature. I feel like people talk about that with like the running game versus the passing game where it goes back and forth. You can also talk about it with quarterbacks right now. It's like a pocket passing quarterback who understands the field is always going to transcend generations of these athletic quarterbacks. It's like when you look at the Anthony Richardson versus Joe Flacco thing, you want Anthony Richardson in there because his processing is not the same. You know, yeah, you can defend the rush and like he's an athlete, so you have to account for that. But at the same time, it's like Joe Flacco came in the game and they lost the game, right? Sorry, Joe Flacco came in the game and then the Steelers lost the game.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say, because Joe Flacco's understanding of the field and where players are going to be. He's not going to throw these hospital balls that a lot of these young athletic guys do, because the athletic guys are like, okay, I have the option to run. Where these older tree guys that people call them in the past stand there and like, okay, well, I need to put this ball right here because I don't want to get my guy killed. Tom Brady said, where he's like, if I was playing Ray Lewis, I'm not throwing the ball to Wes Welker across the middle of the field.
Eli loves doing that for college and pro, just a hospital ball. It's like,
Yeah, it was Hill and Gabriel last week and Njoku across the middle, hospital ball. So this brings up a question that me and Hayden were talking about. So the thing that really stood out to me with Dylan Gabriel this past week is his dump downs to the check downs. So there were twice where he didn't look. He doesn't. He went like this and then looked and threw like without seeing. One time it was batted down by TJ.
and then the other one was the Herbig almost
Right, the
pick,
one
right?
that should have been
Yeah.
intercepted that he
So
basically
you're trying to do like a no look? Is that
No,
what you're
I think he's. So my question is, do you think he like is accounting? Do NFL quarterbacks account for everybody? And it's like, all right, the check down has to be open. So I'm just because I don't think it's Gabriel the
I think
only
some.
one doing it.
I think some
Right,
do.
but
I
in
think
this
that
case,
saying that
is
for
he like,
no.
oh crap, like he wouldn't. He would go like this,
Yeah.
like as he wouldn't check if anybody was there. It was like
I think
it
he's
wasn't no
yeah.
look
I
necessarily.
think he's going through his reads, seeing that nobody's open or getting
Right.
antsy or getting happy
So
feet.
the
And then he's
last
like,
one.
well, this is open. And looking and like, oh, snap. The best defender in the league is standing right there. Or a guy who's playing better than the best defended player in the league is on the other side.
But
like,
it made me want to go back and watch like Brady check downs just to see like
Which once again, I
is
think
he doing
I
that
think
and
Brady
maybe he's
is
accounting.
processing
Right.
that fast.
which would be cool.
I think that saying other non-greatest players of all time, or because Brady's not the only one, but non-Hall of Famers and non-franchise quarterbacks doing it, there's a difference.
well, it goes back to, and I was saying, I think about the reading defenses. Like, I'm sure you guys saw it, the play where Jalen Hurts almost threw that pick six, or he threw the pick and it was almost for six and the other way. AJ Brown comes wide open because they're running cover zero. If you watch, the safety drops down to cover Dallas Goedert, and AJ Brown comes wide open across the middle. Like, there's not going to be anybody within 15 yards of this guy. But Jalen Hurts so hyper fixated on Jahan Dotson of all people to throw to, and that's just no shade to Jahan Dotson, Penn State legend.
Yeah, I was
He's a
gonna
good
say, Eli's
receiver.
not a
He's
freak.
not AJ Brown. He's not AJ Brown. And it's like, because he got so hyper fixated on this and seeing the safety come down, he missed the opportunity to throw an easy touchdown to AJ Brown. That's a touchdown 10 times out of 10. And so it's like the processing of quarterbacks and seeing the field and understanding what defenses are doing is like, I think it's going downhill, while the athleticism of these quarterbacks is going up.
All right, I have 2 new things that I just came up with on the spot because the playbook is open this week. We're opening it up. You know, we have an interim coach. We're trying new things. Next coach fired. Josie, who is it?
I mean, the low-hanging fruit's McDaniel, but I want to say Aaron Glenn, but I don't think it's going to happen just because of how much hype was around him going into this season. Let me pull up the records real quick of these teams.
No, don't cheat. Rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, McDaniel.
McDaniel.
Yeah.
McDaniel. All right, now you
Sounds
can
good.
look and see.
I mean, yeah, I think McDaniel is the easy low-hanging fruit for the next.
I mean, Aaron
five.
Glenn starts 0-8.
I think Aaron Glenn
Daniel
is
could definitely win this week
You know
against
what?
Cleveland.
I do think that Stefanski.
Yeah, I just got a piece.
I think Stefanski is. I think Stefanski's out this year. I mean, they're 1-5. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a.
And you don't think it's a hot take?
Speak
No, I don't
louder.
think it's in
You're
the
not
next
further than
couple
that.
weeks.
You're not with the mic. Speak louder.
I don't think it's in the next couple weeks.
Thank you.
Well,
I'll see you for pasta dinner tomorrow.
Yeah.
You saunaing too?
probably not.
All right.
I mean, if the Cardinals keep doing what they're doing, I could see Gannon being out as well.
Josie, what
I
team?
could see Kyler Murray out after the season
I
too,
agree.
potentially.
What team is AJ Brown on week 10
Mm,
or whenever the trade deadline?
I think it's week 8, right? Week 8
It
is
used
the,
to be. They changed
Oh, did they
it.
move it back?
Yeah.
The Eagles. They're not going to give him up if they're really trying to repeat.
I agree, but he's not on the team past this year.
Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah.
He is not at the start of the 2026 season. He is not on the team. I think he's going to be on the team. He's not going to get traded before the deadline. I don't think.
Who's the most likely team to trade for him this year?
Sorry,
You're good.
just trying to move it to.
No, you're
I'm trying to think of a team that's a contender that's going to be out because, like, I think of like the Rams and Puka, but like he's only going to be out for like a handful of weeks, likely.
It's the Patriots, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. I
Yeah.
mean, that's legit. I
Which
think
that would be
Patriots,
amazing.
Steelers, like teams that have a need at wide receiver.
Yeah.
I think of the two, Patriots is probably more realistic.
And this is something that me and Eli talked about kind of with Penn State and Signetti. Like if Signetti were to go, he's Indiana's coach. I don't know.
Yeah.
Separating, separating like your fandom of a team versus your fandom of the sport.
Mm-hmm.
AJ Brown to the Steelers would be awesome for
Oh,
the
yeah.
Steelers. At least in the short term, I would still argue. Long term, that might not be the best play, but better for the sport of the NFL. AJ Brown to the Patriots. I mean, that Patriots team. Him and Stephon Diggs, Keyshawn Booty now gets to be a wide receiver 3, sharing the role with Pop Douglas. Like that offense all of a sudden becomes dynamic.
100%.
Which, by the way, you need this year. Whoever ends up being my QB1, you need to make me like hold firm because my last 2 QB1s,
Drake May and
Jackson Dart. Like
yeah.
you need to say Hayden, say it with your chest
Yeah.
because both times I was like, oh, I don't love those.
Drew Aller, stick to it.
No.
3rd round pick Drew Aller.
Both times, like, well, if Dante Moore comes out, it'll be him.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's coming out.
Two other teams that I think would be interesting to watch, both NFC. I think the Packers would be an interesting one. And the reason I think that is because we've been talking for so long about how they don't have a wide receiver 1. Matthew Golden hasn't made his splash on the scene yet. Jaden Reed's on IR. Romeo Dobbs is playing pretty well right now, but like who knows what's going to happen there with when and if Christian Watson's coming back. I think that's an interesting one to watch. And then another one that's really interesting to watch. I heard a report this week that Brandon Ayuk might not be back this season. Like he might be out
I've been
this whole
stashing
season.
him on a lot of my teams. So
Yeah, I saw a report today that there's no indication of when he's coming back or if he's coming back this season. I think the Niners would be a great fit for AJ Brown. I don't know that he would necessarily like going to another super run-heavy offense where like he's not going to be the 3rd option at best. When you talk about their options being CMC, George Kittle when he's back from injury, and then him being the 3rd option. But I think he's a good run blocker when they're winning. And I think that would be another interesting fit there.
I dig that.
Yeah.
All right, and then one final question to wrap things up. What is one thing that we have not seen that you still want to see before the season is over?
Not see a 4,000-yard passer for the Bears. He's on pace
You
for 4,009.
You should have taken that bonus bet that DraftKings was giving.
What was it?
The odds boost. I don't know. It was like plus 300 or something.
It's not great for something that's never been done before.
Yeah, but it's
gotta
gonna
be higher
happen
than
this
that.
year, and
Maybe.
um,
He's towing that line. You know he's gonna get 3,999 or 3,999.
or they'll set him last.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to see rookies who I was really high on this year get the ball. Colson Loveland, who I picked him in every fantasy draft, and then Travion Henderson, who I didn't pick in every fantasy draft, but I realized I didn't have him in any of my fantasy teams,
Yeah.
and then so I picked him with my final two. So I want to see those two rookies get the ball, especially Travion, because Colson Loveland might just not be ready. Travion Henderson is ready, and there's something up there because he's clearly better than Ramondre Stevenson and was Antonio Gibson.
Yeah, I think of the two other ones that popped in my mind as you were talking. Puka coming back and being dominant and being the first 2,000-yard wide receiver would be awesome to see, and then Bijan breaking that 2,500 mark that CJ2K set when in all-purpose yards. So
Who wins Offensive Player of the Year then?
of those two, if both of those happen,
That's why I like. That's
see that's a tough one because I literally just said this to somebody at work the other day. It's like the first 2,000-yard wide receiver in the NFL. I don't think it's even a conversation of offensive player of the year. I think the first 2,000-yard receiver in the NFL needs to be in MVP conversations.
I don't know. If Puka gets 2,000 yards, I feel like Matthew Stafford's gonna be.
I mean, maybe, but who else is like Devontae Adams? We talked about his target versus catch rate is not great. I expect him. Listen, if you have Devontae Adams in fantasy and Puka's out this week, dude, easiest must start in the history of must starts. But like he is very much second fiddle, and so like you look at what happened with when Calvin Johnson had 1968 or whatever it was. Like who was wide receiver too? Was it Nate Burleson? I don't even remember if it was Nate Burleson or not.
I think
See,
he. I think
was
it
it
was
Marvin? Was Marvin Jones there?
No,
at the time?
because I think it was 2012. Because funny enough, it was the same season of Adrian Peterson's MVP season. I'm pretty sure. So it's kind of similar to what we're seeing, and we've seen this before. Jonathan Taylor, another guy who's up there for Offensive Player of the Year and MVP right now. Him and Justin Jefferson, they each had a year where they both were close to 2,000 yards and well over double-digit touchdowns. So.
Yeah. I just also think it's funny that the quarterback for projected and two top receiving seasons of all time is Matt Stafford. So.
Yeah.
Because Cooper Kupp and Calvin Johnson are the only ones to go over 19, and then projected I think Puka's still projected around 2,000 this season, based on how his season has gone so far.
Can we talk about how high Matthew Stafford's going to climb in the all-time quarterback list if the Rams win the Super Bowl this year? And I get that that's a grand statement, but you look at the numbers,
they were my pick.
and then he does two Super Bowl. He passes Big Ben, no question.
Which Big Ben's in top 8 for you? 10?
10 to 12.
10, 12, okay.
Yeah. I think maybe 10, but
Yeah.
if I'm being honest, probably 10 to 12. But, I mean, let's go through it. I made the list. It's on my phone, of course, so we can't use that right now. But Brady,
No, I don't know.
Brady, Manning,
Yeah.
Marino, Montana, and this isn't in order.
Yeah.
Mahomes is already there. Rodgers, yes. Favre. So that's at 7.
You're talking about people above Ben right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim Kelly. Or no.
It's close. I personally put him under just because I'm a Steelers fan.
I'd be fine
I'll
with-
unabashedly say that I'm a Steelers fan. So
I'm fine with taking
up.
up. So Brady, Manning, Rodgers, Favre,
Yeah.
Montana.
Yeah.
Who am I? Mahomes.
You to put an Elway up there.
Elway for sure. Jim Kelly, I'll give you. I think Elway probably hasn't beat.
Yeah. Three Super Bowls.
Two. His last 2 years of his career. Is Josh Allen already?
I wouldn't. Yeah, he hasn't done anything.
What about
postseason.
Lamar? 2 MVPs to Ben's 0.
I'm a big proponent of like you need to at least have one Super Bowl to be in this conversation.
Okay,
Like outside of Aikman, like not Aikman. I'm sorry. Outside of Marino, Outside of Marino, I think that's the exception to the conversation. I think people say that all the time. Like, he's the only one that's in this conversation and doesn't have a Super Bowl.
Breeze.
See, I think Ben's better than Breeze. I know he has all the records and stuff, but like, Breeze was only able to do it once, and like, he also had a better coaching situation. That's what a lot of people would say, offensively at least.
I think you have to do Breeze. I agree.
Yeah.
You put Ben with Sean Payton, sure,
Yeah.
but also if you put Ben with Sean Payton, does Ben have the Super Bowls? I would I don't, maybe. So Breeze, that's an 8. I think Allen and Lamar not yet, but I think both of them will pass Ben.
Yeah.
By the time they're done.
In their current trajectory, I would agree. I'm not saying that not
Their
gonna be a
current
fall off or something
trajectory,
crazy,
they're going to pass him by a pretty clear margin. So we're at 8 right now. Steve Young.
Yeah, probably.
He
Yeah,
is
I'd
the
say
Super
Steve
Bowl.
Young.
He's the MVP, and
Yeah,
his
I'd say
career
Steve
his
Young.
career was cut short too. So
Yeah,
we're
I'd
at
say Steve
9.
Young's fair.
We're at 9 now, and that's not including Jim Kelly. That's not including any of the old heads like a Staubach or anything.
Bart Starr.
Yeah,
somebody,
yeah,
yeah.
Bart Starr. Staubach's the one guy from the 70s where I kind of give him the benefit of the doubt when in these more modern conversations, because I look at him in terms of athletic ability and arm, and I'm like, all right, that guy could have probably played. Like Bradshaw, I never put in that conversation, but 4 Super Bowls, sure. Like in that same area, Bart Starr, same thing.
I think most
Fran
Steelers
Tarkenton.
fans. I think most Steelers fans will tell you Ben's better than
You'd be surprised.
Ben's better than Terry Bradshaw.
Even on TikTok, people will get insights of
That's
him.
wild.
So we're at
4 Super Bowls, throwing the ball 8 times during the Super Bowl.
9,
Right.
right? We're at 9, right? Yeah, so I would say 10 to 12 for Ben. But also, I think that he's going to fall out of that 12. Why? Because Allen and Lamar, I think, both clear him. And then if Joe Burrow can ever stay healthy and start winning. So,
Big if.
yeah, but
Yeah. What's this, year 7 for him? For Joe? No.
how
He
did
was in
that
the
conversation
20
start
He
up?
was in the 2020.
Top 10 to 12. Oh, so Matthew Stafford. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Stafford's numbers.
We talked about this before the season. He needed like less than 4,000 passing yards this season to pass. Was it Ben? It was to break in the top 10 of passing, I think.
Yeah, Rodgers is going to pass Ben for something this year. He already passed him for touchdowns, so it must be yards. But yeah, 2 Super Bowls. So Matthew Stafford right now is 9th all time in pass yards. He is going to pass Matt Ryan this year if healthy. He is going to pass Phillip Rivers this year if healthy. Theoretically, he could get up to 5 or 6, depending on where Rodgers ends up finishing, right above Roethlisberger, who right now is at 5. Touchdown. Oh, that's all touchdowns, not pass. And then pass touchdowns, Stafford is right below Ben, and he probably won't get there this year. Ben's at 418, Stafford's at 389. So, but I think a Super Bowl win, you look at their supporting cast throughout career, I think Stafford passes Ben this year if the Rams win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. They're semi-close now in the conversation, so...
Yeah. And once again, Ben... I saw somebody tried saying Ben wasn't a Hall of Fame quarterback. No, he is.
Wild.
Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts?
No, maybe we talked about the head coaching carousel. It's starting again this year. I mean, you kind of mentioned it. Like, I don't think.
Oh,
there's
I'll
that
give you
big
one
name
that we
yet.
didn't
Yeah.
talk about, but might be next up. Jonathan Gannon.
That might be getting fired. I think
Yeah,
I
he might
mentioned him.
Oh,
Because
did
I
we?
said right before I said about Kyler potentially being gone.
yeah,
I
you're
said
right.
I feel like Jonathan Gannon's seat's definitely getting a little bit hot. Which I mean, I think Cliff Kingsbury deserves a second shot as a head coach, not in Arizona. But they're probably still paying him, I would assume, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
They're paying him this year, but next year they won't be, because that's one of the reasons why I said last year you should not take a job on the only job that is good enough would be Tampa to reunite with Baker if Bulls were to go, because that Tampa job is attractive.
Oh yeah. I think that there's certain years like last year where it's like, okay, there's a lot of young guys who are going to be looked at as really good potential potential head coaches, and then there's certain years where it's like, okay, well let's give this guy another shot. I think another name that would be interesting that kind of was brought up on Pat last year is like, why has Steve Spagnuolo never been looked at again as a potential head coach? What he's been doing with that defense in Kansas
Do you think
City?
that time's passed?
Probably.
What
but
about
I think
Eric?
that you have to take
Because
a shot if you
Eric
need it.
Bieniemy,
Oh gosh.
for all the issues, like
Yeah. But he wasn't he didn't call plays. He like what did
neither
he
did
really
Matt
do?
Nagy, and Matt Nagy was coach of the year. Neither was Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but we've already talked about this. Coach of the year doesn't mean anything. It's Kevin Stefanski
Does a
has
Super
two.
Bowl? Does a Super Bowl?
100%.
Well, Doug Peterson never called plays. He got a Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. with
John
Nick
Harbaugh
Foles.
was a special teams coordinator. Hey, like Andy Reid is one of the greatest coaches of all time. Like he's not delegating a ton, so I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, who did he do play calling in Philly too?
Reid?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
Maybe.
assume so. I'm not
I
going to
don't
say
know.
with 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I would assume.
Yeah.
But also I can't think of who his offensive minds were with him.
Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
he was there during Vic and
McNabb,
McNabb.
and those were his two quarterbacks, really.
Yeah, I would assume based on the play calling and style that it was him, but I don't.
I'm pretty sure it was him. The only assistant coach that I can think of that was strictly with him for the Eagles is John Harbaugh, who they had to give him a title. They gave him they made him special teams coordinator / like assistant secondary coach, I think, to kind of get him over the hump and get a head coaching job. So we'll see. Cliff Kingsbury, I agree, but he's another one. Depending on where Washington finishes, he might be too good of a candidate for Tennessee. Which I get it. There's only 32 of these jobs. Like you can't
Maybe
be
it'll
too picky.
interesting. As long as they get rid of Tua.
How similar is he to McDaniel though? Like typically for these coaches, you'll see them do the opposite. So if you have a young, hot offensive mind, you're gonna hire
Well,
Kyle Shanahan, Matt
I think
LaFleur.
Michael McDaniel's hot.
Something. You know what I meant. But also, yeah, you're gonna go get the seasoned, hard nosed, old school defensive coach, and then same thing, vice versa. The Vikings, you fire Mike Zimmer, you're gonna go hire the young, hot offensive mind in Kevin O'Connell. So
Two more quick names.
Yeah.
Do you think either of these guys ever get another shot in the NFL? Matt Rule, Chip Kelly.
Matt Rule, no. Me and Eli, so
Yeah.
me and him are both thinking that Penn State is his job to lose as of right now. Me a little bit more so than him.
So look for year 3 when he comes to Penn State to do
well.
anything at all.
Chip Kelly, no. That was actually another name that we threw out for Penn State. Where he's not as enthusiastic about that one. He's already on the hot seat in Vegas, so I don't think so. Also, technically, Kelly's already gotten his second chance in the NFL. He was the Niners coach. Yeah.
But that was like right after, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like the year.
And it
the
was
year right
one
after he was
season.
fired.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was right before they brought in Shanahan.
Correct.
Yeah. That was
Because
the
it went
transition to
Harbaugh,
Shanahan.
Jim Tomsula, Chip Kelly.
Maybe that's the secret. Bring in Chip Kelly for one season, get rid of him, and then the next guy you bring in is going to be a long-term head coach.
Maybe.
So,
Or at the
in
very
Philly,
least,
it
you'll
was
win a
Doug
Super
Peterson,
Bowl.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you win a Super Bowl there, and then
Uh-huh.
the other side on the Niners, you get one of the best head coaches in the league.
If I were a college team, I would be throwing all the money at Chip Kelly. With that said, I don't think. But UCLA fans would get bothered by that because Chip Kelly didn't recruit hard there, but he's so good schematically, at least in the college. That third head coaching opportunity in the pros doesn't really happen. I can think of a few cases. Mike Shanahan, because he was with the Raiders, then was amazing with Denver, and then finished out in Washington.
Yeah.
Lovie Smith,
Washington, what?
he was the head coach of the Redskins.
The Redskins. That's right. Okay, that's right. Thank you.
Yeah, just for you.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Lovie Smith, good in Chicago, iffy in Tampa, and then Houston. John Fox, Carolina, Denver to Chicago. Like the 3 times doesn't really happen for a head coach, because I'm trying to. Is there another one that I'm not? You see a lot with like the 2 runs, and what's funny, and this we'll wrap up with this. General managers, they don't even get the second shot, which is hilarious to me because head coaches get a second shot all the time. But Mike McCarthy's going to be the rare 3 shot.
Yeah.
But even his situation's weird because he didn't even get fired, nor should he have. He did a good job with what Dallas had last year. Jerry Jones was just cheap
Yeah.
because Jerry Jones still wanted to even keep it. So
Well, one more name, Brian Flores. I hope Brian Flores gets.
He
another
should,
shot.
yeah.
He should.
Because if you ask me, he is. His
Why
name
not
is.
him in Tennessee.
Maybe I'm being a
They had the
snob.
Belichick tree.
Maybe I'm being a snob. I think he's too good for like.
I agree too.
But
No, I
at the
agree.
same, like,
Yeah.
maybe it's just because I'm in the swing of the college coaching carousel where you can be picky because there's 130 FBS jobs,
32.
like 32 NFL jobs. Like all of them are pretty good. Like unless you're the Ben Johnson hype candidate, like you can be picky because otherwise, look at what happens. You're Byron Leftwich. You can be picky. All of a sudden, you're fired and you can't get an OC job. So. I don't know. Like
Yeah, if you're Brian Flores, are you going to waste your 2 opportunities that you're only going to have on Miami and Tennessee?
you were just with a dysfunctional owner. I think he is an example of being choosy, but at the same time, like I don't know, like he's lucky that he's in the NFL period right now. So maybe he does say, you know what, I'm gonna just take this opportunity and run. But
Well,
do
when
I
the Steelers
think he
fire
should be?
Taylor Austin, he can come back to Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Or if the Steelers would have just retained Brian Flores, and then he would have gotten hired by a team, and since he's a minority, the Steelers would have gotten 2 third-round draft picks. But
Taylor Austin's also minority.
he's so bad. Hey,
He's a terrible DC.
so I was talking about Arthur Smith too in North Carolina. Terrell Austin, before Syracuse hired their coach, he was a finalist at Syracuse, and Syracuse's coach is good enough where maybe he goes somewhere else. Maybe I don't know. That might be a pipe dream at this point.
Run it back with Taylor Austin. Get him out of there. I want
Syracuse to run it back.
Syracuse to run back their hiring process with Terrell Austin, get him out of Pittsburgh. That's what I was trying to
Any
say.
other names that you want to throw at me?
And then Rich Bisaccia. There you go. Never got a shot as a head coach.
Yeah, but Green Bay is about to fire him as a special teams coordinator, so no. So Spags, Dave Tope, another old guy at this point where he's not, but Kansas City special teams coordinator, he probably.
Vic Fangio. He was a head coach, wasn't he?
Yeah, with Denver.
Yeah.
He was before Nathaniel Hackett.
Okay. Nathaniel Hackett.
Where is he at?
I don't think he's anywhere.
I think he went to. Did he go to Jacksonville after?
Not as an OC.
Oh, he was with New York because Rogers had him hired.
Yeah, I'm sorry. He's nowhere now, is what I was saying.
Yeah.
That was a big story that he brought.
Guess where he's at right now?
Is he somewhere?
Yeah,
College, NFL?
NFL.
As a coordinator?
No.
Okay. I'm going to go...
His title is defensive analyst, so not even on the offensive side of the football anymore.
Tennessee Titans.
Close, sorta. Where he's at has a tie to the Titans.
Division tie?
No,
No. Tie.
don't overthink it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ignore the tie because that could throw you off.
I don't know. I got nothing.
He's back in Green Bay as a defensive analyst.
Mm.
Green Bay's coaching staff on paper, kind of nice. So LaFleur, obviously.
Yeah.
Luke Getsy, who isn't successful, but he was the offensive coordinator for Chicago.
Yeah.
Was that just last year or 2 years ago? One of the two.
That sounds right.
Do you remember Sean Mannion?
Yeah. Big head. Big old head.
Yeah.
A big helmet, I guess.
He now has a worse hairline than me.
Backup quarterback in Minnesota?
Yes, and then St. Louis beforehand.
Yeah.
He's their quarterbacks coach.
Interesting.
Jason Vrabel is the pass game coordinator. I don't think there's relation there.
Not to Vrabel. Not to Mike.
Jeff Hafley, the defense coordinator, he's an interesting one for Tennessee
Yeah.
if that were to happen. But I like him, so I hope he doesn't go there.
Yeah.
But a former head coach, obviously Nathaniel Hackett. We continue to scroll on. Bisaccia, another former Ram, Corey Harkey. Do you remember him?
What
he-
position?
He was like a fullback / tight end. He kind of gave Connor Hayward vibes.
Okay. I vaguely...
He was with the Rams also.
Yeah. Which shout out Connor Hayward actually doing something this season.
Yeah, that was a tremendous catch.
It was a really good catch.
But also, Connor Hayward's more involved in the offense than Pat Fryermuth.
He's a mascot.
So, all right, so that
Pat Fryermuth's his name and a mascot, so...
Packers
They're-
coaching staff is
They're gonna
interesting.
trade Pat Fryermuth for a wide receiver.
Yeah. Or
Did you see somebody, Brandon Fehoko, did you see his tweet?
yeah, what is he doing? He's
I don't
been
know.
wild.
Him
Him and Kuntz were going at it
That's right, it was Kuntz, yeah.
because he was like talking,
Yeah.
but I couldn't tell if it was serious because It
he's
sort
a-
of seemed like
yeah.
teammate banter, like just locker room trash talk, but then like it also was kind of
Oh,
weird.
Yeah, because like the one thing I knew about Brendan Fayoko from like the other players was that like he was a jokester, like he was a really good cook apparently, so like he would have people over to his house,
Yeah,
like
he's
real team locker
Bottom
room
of the
type
roster
guy.
kind of guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then his
Um,
brother was on the team too at one
mm,
point. And I think the
mhm.
Chargers had him, and he actually had a couple touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he said something like, "I don't like the if this means what I think it means, I don't like it." With like the sad face.
I did
It's like,
see that. Yeah.
It's like, does that mean Alex Highsmith's getting traded because like they played together in the same line? Does that mean like
I think you got to keep Highsmith this year just because
he just hasn't done anything, dude?
he hasn't been out. Oh, I have
His
no problem.
his highest sack season outside of that season the TJ started 6.
I agree, and I have no problem trading him next season, or I would have had no problem trading him this past offseason. But you and Eli just scolded me and told me that the Steelers were contenders.
Yeah.
Why would you trade him now?
There's other stuff you get back for it. Not just
What are you
picks
going to
and
get
players.
back that's going to help you this year?
Oh, a franchise left tackle and a
Yeah,
wide receiver,
exactly.
too.
So
Yeah.
next year, I have no problem trading him, and I think they should. This past offseason, I would have argued they should. But at this point, there's no reason to trade him. Freiermuth, maybe.
Get a free safety.
Highsmith, there's no point. Yeah.
Get a valuable free safety.
Justin
what
Simmons
position?
is still out there.
Yeah, but I think that's because he wants too much money. In my opinion, that's probably what it is. Because he had a big market. Like when
Yeah,
I
but
thought,
how many
like,
people? Who's available via trade that's going to be better than Justin Simmons? That we don't have to pay just as much
I
for,
was gonna say Buda Baker, but he's gonna be expensive when you get him based on the contract that he
and
already
that's
has.
probably going to be a. I would love bringing in Buda
Dude,
though.
imagine
Him and
Buda
Ramsey
Baker,
as the chess pieces.
and then you also have friggin' why am I blanking on his name right now? Our strong safety. Elliott, thank you, Deshaun Elliott.
You have him. Oh yeah, he's our
He
strong.
just signed.
yeah.
He just signed an extension. He got him
Yeah.
for 3 more seasons.
I was
after
thinking he
this,
was
I think.
free because he's been a free before, but yeah.
Yeah, no, he's been playing strong for us. So,
Um,
well, because we had Minka.
You know who's the biggest Buda Baker fan of all time?
Christian? Eli. Really? I like Buda Baker too. I'm a big
Huge,
fan.
going back to the Washington days. So
Mhm. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Buda Baker as well. I think his play style is close to Deshaun Elliott, so maybe they wouldn't be like, the greatest mix up there. Maybe you have to like substitute him in a slot and such and so on.
him and
so forth,
Ramsey are
but-
just like so much you could do there.
Yeah, they're always running the ball.
Yeah.
The fact that people throw the ball in the direction of Jalen Ramsey is still shocking to me. With how he's proven that he's not watched this season, like people still throw the ball towards his direction. It's like, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing?
We're gonna lose this week. Joey Flacco's.
Who? I don't know who
Hall
that
of
is.
Fame
I don't know
quarterback.
who that is.
Oh, we forgot
He's
to
getting
mention.
hurt.
We forgot to mention him in our top 10 of chill quarterbacks. This has been the Second and Short podcast. We will see you next week.
TJ Watt's having 3 sacks this weekend. Or this Thursday.